The white hull of the UES Mercy gleamed against the black void of space. Red crosses marked its sides, telling everyone who saw it that this was a hospital ship. Dr. Hyun-woo Park stood in the main medical bay, watching his team work on a wounded alien trader. The creature's blue blood stained the white sheets, but the human doctors worked with steady hands. "How is he doing?" Dr. Park asked Dr. Yoonbi Kim, his best surgeon. "He'll live," she said, not looking up from her work. "The laser burns went deep, but we caught them in time." Dr. Park nodded. This was their job. For 3 years, the Mercy had traveled the Outer Rim territories, helping anyone who needed medical care. Human, alien, it did not matter. If someone was hurt, they helped. The ship's communication system buzzed. "Dr. Park to the bridge," came the voice of Captain Dong-suk Nam. Dr. Park walked through the clean white halls of his ship. Everything was spotless. The Mercy was not just a hospital, it was the best hospital in this part of space. They had saved thousands of lives out here, far from the big planets where good medical care was easy to find. On the bridge, Captain Nam looked worried. "We got a distress call," he said. "A Velkari cruiser. They're hurt bad." Dr. Park looked at the message on the screen. The Velkari were not friendly to humans. Most of the time, they would not even talk to humans. They thought humans were weak and stupid. "How many wounded?" Dr. Park asked. "At least 50, maybe more." Security Chief Jimin Choi stepped forward. "Doctor, this could be a trap. The Velkari hate us. Why would they ask for our help?" Dr. Park thought about this. Jimin was right to be careful. But he looked at the message again. The ship was really damaged. People were dying. "We're doctors," Dr. Park said. "We help sick people. That's what we do." Captain Nam nodded. "Set course for the Velkari ship." 2 hours later, the Mercy arrived at the damaged cruiser. The Velkari ship was big and black, built for war. Now it had holes in its side and was leaking air into space. Dr. Park and his team put on their spacesuits and went to the Velkari ship. Inside, they found a mess. The ship had been attacked by pirates. Bodies lay everywhere. Some Velkari were still alive, but barely. The Velkari looked like tall lizards with 4 arms. Their blood was green, and they spoke in hissing sounds. Most humans found them scary, but Dr. Park saw only patients who needed help. "Tae-ho, get the stretchers," Dr. Park called to his combat medic. Tae-ho Lee had been a soldier before becoming a medic. He was not afraid of the Velkari. They worked for 6 hours, moving the wounded to the Mercy. Dr. Park's team worked on dozens of aliens. Some wounds were easy to fix, others were very bad. One young Velkari female was hurt worst of all. She had burns all over her body. Dr. Yoonbi worked on her for 3 hours. "Who is she?" Dr. Park asked the Velkari captain. "My daughter," the captain hissed. "If she dies, you die." Dr. Park nodded. "She won't die. We're going to save her." And they did. Dr. Yoonbi worked all night. When the sun came up on the nearby planet, the young Velkari opened her eyes. The Velkari captain stared at the human doctors. His daughter was alive. The humans had saved her. "Why?" the captain asked Dr. Park. "Because she needed help," Dr. Park said. "We are enemies," the captain said. "Your patients," Dr. Park replied. For the next 2 days, the Mercy's crew took care of the wounded Velkari. They gave them food, medicine, and clean beds. Some of the aliens had never seen humans up close before. They expected humans to be cruel or stupid. Instead, they found doctors who worked day and night to help them. Dr. So Young Yun, who took care of alien children, played games with young Velkari while they got better. The alien children laughed at her funny human jokes. Their parents watched in surprise. Minho Kong worked in the engineering section of the ship. He was quiet and did not talk much. Most people thought he was just a medical technician who fixed machines. But Minho watched everything. He saw how the Velkari looked at the humans. He saw the surprise in their eyes when humans helped them, without asking for anything back. On the third day, the Velkari were ready to go home. Their ship was fixed enough to fly. The captain came to say goodbye to Dr. Park. "You saved my daughter's life," the captain said. "I will remember this." "Just help someone else when you can," Dr. Park said. The captain looked confused. "You don't want payment? Honor? Nothing?" "We want people to live," Dr. Park said. "That's enough." The Velkari left, but word spread quickly through space. The human hospital ship had saved enemies without asking for anything. Some aliens thought this was stupid. Others thought it was amazing. 3 days later, the Mercy got another call. This time it was from a small colony that had been hit by a space storm. 30 people were hurt. The Mercy raced to help them. Dr. Park stood on the bridge looking at the stars. Jimin Choi came up beside him. "Doctor, some people think we're crazy for helping our enemies," she said. "Maybe we are," Dr. Park said. "But if helping people is crazy, then I'm happy to be crazy." They reached the colony and spent 2 days helping the wounded. These were human colonists. But Dr. Park's team worked just as hard as they had for the Velkari. After they finished, the colony leader thanked them. "The Mercy is famous out here," he said. "People say you help anyone who needs it." "That's right," Dr. Park said. "Even aliens?" "Even aliens," the man smiled. "My grandfather was a doctor on Earth. He always said that sickness and pain don't care what race you are. I think he would like you." That night, Dr. Park walked through his ship. In the medical bays, his team was getting ready for the next emergency. Dr. Yunbi was checking supplies. Taeho was cleaning equipment. Dr. So Young was reading stories to some young patients who were almost ready to go home. Minho was in the engineering bay, working on the ship's computers. He looked up when Dr. Park walked by. "Good work today, Minho," Dr. Park said. "Thank you, Doctor," Minho said quietly. Dr. Park kept walking. He did not know that Minho was much more than a simple technician. He did not know about Minho's past, or the terrible things Minho had helped create before coming to the Mercy. All Dr. Park knew was that his ship helped people. Every day they saved lives. Human lives, alien lives, it did not matter. The Mercy was a place where everyone was welcome. As Dr. Park looked out at the stars, he felt proud of his crew. They were good people, doing good work in a dangerous part of space. They had made enemies into friends and showed the galaxy that humans cared. About more than just themselves. He had no idea that in just a few days everything would change. He did not know that someone was watching the Mercy, planning something terrible. He did not know that soon his ship of healing would become the center of the biggest war the galaxy had ever seen. For now, the Mercy flew peacefully through space, its red crosses bright against the darkness, ready to help whoever needed them. The emergency call came at dawn, ship time. Dr. Hyunwoo Park was drinking coffee in his office when the alarm buzzed. Captain Dong-Suk Nam's voice filled the ship. "All hands, we have a distress call. Multiple casualties from a border fight. We're going in fast." Dr. Park ran to the medical bay. His team was already getting ready. Dr. Yunbi Kim was preparing the operating rooms. Tae-ho Lee was loading medical supplies onto stretchers. Everyone moved with practiced speed. "What do we know?" Dr. Park asked. "Two ships crashed into each other during a fight," Dr. Yunbi said. "Looks like 50 wounded, maybe more. Mixed species." The Mercy jumped to faster-than-light speed. In the engineering bay, Min-ho Kang watched the computer screens. The ship's systems ran perfectly. He had made sure of that. No one knew how good he really was with computers and machines. 2 hours later, they dropped out of faster-than-light near the crash site. Two ships floated dead in space. One was human, the other was from the Zendari Republic. Both ships were broken and bleeding air. "Get the wounded," Dr. Park ordered. For the next 6 hours, rescue teams brought people to the Mercy. Humans and Zendari alike filled the medical bays. Some had broken bones. Others had been burned by exploding computers. A few were barely alive. Dr. So-young Yun worked on a young Zendari girl who had been hurt when her ship's power system exploded. The little alien's fur was burned, but Dr. Yun worked carefully to heal her. "Will she be okay?" asked the girl's father. "She'll be fine," Dr. Yun said with a smile. "She's tough." The Zendari man looked amazed. "You help us even though we're not human?" "Everyone deserves to live," Dr. Yun said. Dr. Park was operating on a human pilot when Jimin Choi came to find him. "Doctor, we have a problem," she said. "Ships are coming. Lots of them." Dr. Park finished closing the pilot's wounds and went to the bridge. Through the main window, he could see lights in space. Ships were coming out of faster-than-light speed all around them. Captain Nam looked worried. "Krelton Empire Battle Fleet. 12 ships. They have us surrounded." Dr. Park felt cold. The Krelton were the most dangerous aliens in this part of space. They thought all other species should serve them or die. A message came through the ship's communication system. The voice was deep and threatening. "Human ship. This is Admiral Vorthek of the Krelton Empire. You will surrender now." Captain Nam looked at Dr. Park. The doctor nodded and stepped forward. "This is Dr. Hyunwoo Park of the UES Mercy. We are a hospital ship. We're treating wounded people." "You are harboring enemies of the Krelton Empire," Admiral Vorthek said. "Surrender, or be destroyed." "We have wounded Krelton on board too," Dr. Park said quickly. "We treat everyone who needs help. Check our medical records." Dr. Park sent their patient files to the Krelton ships. The records showed humans, Zendari, Velkari, and even 3 wounded Krelton soldiers from last week. There was silence for a long minute. Then Admiral Vorthek laughed. It was a cold, mean sound. "You humans are weak," he said. "You help your enemies. This makes you stupid." "This makes us doctors," Dr. Park said. "Your mercy is weakness. Today, you learn what weakness costs." The communication ended. Dr. Park felt his heart beating fast. "All patients to the emergency shelters," he ordered. Now, his crew moved quickly. Tae-ho and the other medics started moving patients to the safest parts of the ship. Dr. Yunbi helped carry stretchers. Even the wounded who could walk helped. Others who couldn't. In the engineering bay, Min-ho Kang watched the computer screens. The Krelton ships were powering up their weapons. He knew what was about to happen. He had seen this before, in another life. "Captain," Dr. Park called over the communication system, "can we run?" "Not with all these patients," Captain Nam said. "We're too heavy and too slow." Dr. Park closed his eyes. Around him, his crew worked to save lives. Dr. So Young was still helping the burned Zendari girl. Dr. Yunbi was operating on a human soldier. They were doctors. They saved people. This was who they were. The first blast hit the ship's side. The lights went out for a second, then came back on. Alarms started screaming. "Shields down to 60%, came a voice from the bridge. Another blast, then another. The Mercy shook like a tree in a storm. "Shields failing," Captain Nam called. Dr. Park ran through the ship. In the children's medical bay, Dr. So Young was holding 3 young patients, 2 humans and 1 alien. She was singing to them to keep them calm. "Dr. Park," she called, "the little ones are scared." "It's going to be okay," Dr. Park lied. The ship shook again. This time, part of the wall exploded inward. 3 patients died instantly. Dr. Park saw Dr. So Young thrown against the wall. She did not get up. "So Young!" Dr. Park ran to her. She was still breathing but badly hurt. "The children," she whispered. "Save the children." More explosions. The ship was breaking apart. In the main medical bay, Dr. Yunbi was still trying to operate even as pieces of the ceiling fell around her. "I'm not leaving him," she shouted when Taeho tried to make her evacuate her patient. The ship shook harder. Minho Kang held onto his computer station. Around him, medical equipment fell and broke. He could hear people screaming in the medical bays. These were good people. They helped everyone. They had saved his life when he came to them broken and guilty, and now they were dying because they believed in healing instead of hurting. Minho made a decision. He pulled open a panel in the computer system and took out some special equipment he had hidden there. Neural interface cables. He had sworn he would never use them again. They connected his brain directly to computer systems, but they were dangerous. "Computer," he said, "begin emergency data upload." "Warning," the ship's computer said. "You are not authorized for this procedure. Override. Code. Phoenix 77 Alpha." The computer was quiet for a moment. Then, identity confirmed. Dr. Minho Kang, former director, Human Weapons Research Division. Authorization accepted. Minho plugged the cables into his head. Pain shot through his skull as his brain connected to the ship's systems. But now, he could think as fast as a computer and access data that would have taken hours to upload normally. Another explosion. Dr. Park's voice came over the ship's communication system. "All crew to escape pods. The ship is lost. Repeat. Abandon ship." Minho ignored the order. He was sending something into space. Not a distress call. Something much more important. Every piece of information he had ever stolen, copied, or learned about alien military technology. Ship designs, weapon frequencies, secret base locations, political weaknesses, everything. It was the most complete intelligence data in the galaxy. And he was sending it to every human ship, base, and colony at once. "Upload complete," the computer said. Minho fell back from the computer station. Blood ran from his nose and ears. The neural interface had nearly killed him, but it was done. The ship shook one last time. Then everything went quiet. The lights went out. The Mercy was dying. In the medical bay, Dr. Park held Dr. So Young's hand as she died. Around them, good. People who had only wanted to help others were dying too. "Why?" Dr. Park whispered. He would never know that Minho's upload had just changed everything. The data was already reaching human ships across the galaxy. Soon, humanity would know every secret their enemies had tried to hide. The Krelthan thought they had won. They thought they had taught humans a lesson about weakness. They had no idea what they had really done. The Mercy was dying around them. Minho Kang sat at his computer station, blood running down his face from the neural interface cables still plugged into his head. The ship's lights flickered as power systems failed one by one. Through the communication system, he could hear Dr. Park calling for evacuation. People were running through the halls trying to get to escape pods, but Minho stayed where he was. His work was not finished. "Computer," he said weakly. "Status of data upload?" "Upload 75% complete." The ship's computer replied. "Warning, primary power will fail in 4 minutes." Minho closed his eyes and forced himself to think faster. The neural interface let his brain work like a computer, but it was killing him. He could feel his mind burning from the effort. The data he was sending was not just military information, it was 5 years of work, 5 years of hiding, 5 years of trying to forget what he used to be. Before he came to the Mercy, Minho had been Dr. Minho Kang, the smartest weapons designer in human space. He had created guns that could cut through any armor. He had designed ships that could destroy entire fleets. He had built computer viruses that could shut down alien civilizations. And then he had seen what his weapons did to real people. The turning point came during the Helix 7 battle. Human ships using his weapons had destroyed a colony transport by mistake. 3,000 aliens died, including children. When Minho saw the pictures, something broke inside him. He had destroyed all his research and disappeared. For 2 years, he lived on forgotten planets, trying to drink away the memories. Then he heard about the Mercy, a hospital ship that helped everyone. He created a fake identity and joined as a simple technician. For 3 years, he had fixed medical equipment and tried to save lives instead of ending them. The crew thought he was just a quiet tech worker. Only Dr. Park knew that Minho had nightmares and sometimes woke up screaming. But Dr. Park never asked questions. He just gave Minho work to do and people to help. Slowly, Minho had started to feel human again. Now Dr. Park was dying. Dr. So Young was dead. Good people who had saved thousands of lives were being murdered because they believed in mercy. Computer, increase upload speed, route all remaining power to communications. Warning, this will cause life support failure. Do it. The lights went out. Emergency power kicked in, but it would not last long. Minho felt the ship shake as another explosion tore through the medical bays. The neural interface cables were burning his brain, but he pushed harder. In his mind, he could see the data flowing out into space. Military codes, secret base locations, alien government weaknesses, technology specifications, everything humanity needed to fight back. But more than that, he was sending manufacturing instructions for weapons he had never built, ships he had only dreamed of, computer viruses that could turn alien technology against itself. He was giving humanity the tools to become the most dangerous species in the galaxy. Footsteps in the hallway. Someone was coming. Minho tried to disconnect the cables, but they were fused to his head now. He was stuck. Hye-jin. Oh, the communications officer ran into the engineering bay. She was bleeding from a cut on her forehead. "Minho, you have to get to the escape pods." "Can't stop," Minho said through gritted teeth. Almost finished. Hye-jin looked at the computer screens. Data was streaming out faster than she had ever seen. "What are you doing?" "Giving them what they deserve." Another explosion, this one closer. Part of the ceiling fell down, barely missing them. "The ship is breaking apart," Hye-jin shouted. "Boost the signal," Minho said. "Use the emergency transmitter array." That will kill the remaining power. Do it! Hee-Jin looked at him for a long moment. Then she ran to the communications panel and started working. She did not understand what Minho was doing, but she trusted him. Signal boosted, she said. We have maybe 2 minutes before everything shuts down. Computer, final upload push. Send everything. Minho felt his mind exploding with pain as the neural interface went into overdrive. But he held on. All the secret knowledge he had gathered, all the weapons he had designed, all the ways to hurt. The species that were hurting his friends. Upload complete, the computer said. Minho fell forward onto the keyboard. Blood poured from his nose and ears. The neural interface cables finally disconnected, leaving smoking holes in his skull. Minho! Hee-Jin caught him as he fell. Did it work? He whispered. She looked at the computer screen. It showed a map of human space. Thousands of points of light were flashing green as the data reached ships, colonies, and research stations. It worked, she said. Whatever you sent, everyone got it. Minho smiled. For the first time in 5 years, he felt like he had done something right. The escape pod, he said weakly. Hee-Jin helped him stand. They stumbled through the breaking ship toward the last escape pod. Behind them, the engineering bay exploded as the ship's power core finally gave up. They reached the escape pod just as the final lights went out. Hee-Jin pushed Minho inside and activated the launch sequence. The pod shot away from the Mercy just as the hospital ship broke in half. Through the small window, Minho watched his home for 3 years die in fire and wreckage. Dr. Park was in. There. Dr. So-young, Taeho, Dr. Unbi, all the good people who had shown him what it meant to heal instead of hurt. I'm sorry, he whispered. But he was not sorry for what he had done. The data was already spreading through human space. Military commanders were reading his files. Scientists were looking at his weapon designs. Intelligence officers were learning the location of every alien secret base. The Krelton thought they had won by destroying one hospital ship. They had no idea that they had just started the biggest war in galactic history, and humanity would win that war using the weapons of Minho Kang, the man who had tried to forget how to kill, but remembered just in time to save his species. In the IF, escape pod's small medical scanner, Hee-Jin could see that Minho was badly hurt. The neural interface had damaged his brain. He might die before rescue came, but it did not matter now. What he had done could not be undone. The galaxy's most dangerous secrets were now in human hands. And somewhere in space, Admiral Vorthek was about to learn that destroying a ship full of healers was the worst mistake he had ever made. Captain Dong-Hyun Lim was drinking coffee on the bridge of the UES Retribution when every alarm on his ship started screaming at once. "Captain!" his communications officer shouted. "We're getting a massive data burst from everywhere!" "What do you mean everywhere?" "Every human ship in the sector is sending the same transmission. It's huge. Military codes, technical specifications, star charts. I've never seen anything like this." Captain Lim ran to the communications station. Data was flowing across the DEO, screens faster than anyone could read. Ship designs, weapon frequencies, secret alien military bases, government codes. Where did this come from? The source code says, the UES Mercy. Captain Lim felt cold. The Mercy was Dr. Park's hospital ship. It was supposed to be in this area, helping wounded civilians. Can you reach the Mercy? The communications officer worked for several minutes. Then he shook his head. No response. But Captain, you need to see this data. It's incredible. For the next hour, Captain Lim and his officers went through the files. What they found amazed them. Complete technical specifications for every alien ship design. The locations of secret Krelton military bases. Alien government passwords and communication codes. Weaknesses in alien shield technology. It was the most complete intelligence package in human history. How did the Mercy get all this? Asked Commander Eugene Park, his second-in-command. I don't know, Captain Lim said. But if they sent this data, something bad happened to them. He was right. At that moment, rescue ships were arriving at the wreckage of the Mercy. The hospital ship was broken in half, floating dead in space. Bodies drifted among the debris. Captain J. Sung Lee of the rescue ship Morning Star looked at the destruction and felt sick. Search for survivors, he ordered. His crew worked for hours, but found only death. 200 people had died on the Mercy. Doctors, nurses, patients, crew members. All killed because they tried to help others. Captain, called his scan operator, I'm picking up an escape pod. One life sign, very weak. They brought the pod aboard. Inside, they found Haijin, holding the badly injured Minho Kang. Both were barely alive. The data, Minho whispered as the medical team worked on him. Did it get through? What data? Captain Lee asked. Everything, Minho said, then passed out. In the pod's computer, they found a copy of the transmission. Captain Lee looked at a few files and realized what had happened. Someone on the Mercy had sent the galaxy's most valuable secrets to every human ship at once. But why? And how? The answer came from Admiral Vorthek of the Krelton Empire. He was still near the wreckage of the Mercy, proud of what he had done. Let this be a lesson to all humans, he broadcast on open channels. Your Mercy is weakness. Your hospital ship harbored enemies of the Krelton Empire, so we destroyed it. This is what happens when you help our enemies. Captain Lee felt anger burning in his chest. The Mercy had been a hospital ship. It helped everyone, including Krelton wounded, and they had destroyed it just to prove their power. But Admiral Vorthek had no idea what he had really done. Across human space, the data from Minho's upload was being studied by thousands of experts. In the Earth Defense Command, Admiral Young-Sik Jang was reading through alien military files with growing amazement. This is impossible, he said to his aide. These are Krelton military codes from last week. These ship designs are classified higher than their own generals can access. How did we get this? His aide, Colonel Mi-kyung Kim, was looking at another set of files. Admiral, these aren't just intelligence reports. Someone sent us complete weapon blueprints. Look at this. It's a design for a ship that can punch through any known alien shield. Admiral Jang sat down heavily. Who sent this? The transmission came from the hospital ship UES Mercy. The ship was destroyed 3 hours ago by a Krelton battle fleet. A hospital ship? Yes, sir. Admiral Vorthek claims they were harboring enemies. He destroyed them to make an example. Admiral Jang was quiet for a long moment. Then he started reading through more files. The deeper he went, the more amazed he became. These were not just military secrets. Someone had sent them the political weaknesses of every major alien government, the personal codes of alien leaders, the locations of secret alien research facilities. Colonel Kim, get me a meeting with the Defense Council, emergency session, and find out everything you can about this hospital ship and who was on it. In research facilities across human space, scientists were looking at the technical data with wonder. Dr. Kyung-Mi Shin, head of human weapons research, was studying alien shield frequencies when her assistant ran into her lab. "Doctor, you have to see this! Someone just sent us the complete technical specifications for Valkyrie stealth technology." Dr. Shin looked at the data. It was detailed beyond anything they had ever captured. Not just how the technology worked, but how to build it. How to improve it. How to use it against the aliens who created it. Who sent this? Unknown. The data came from a hospital ship that was destroyed by the Krelthan. Dr. Shin felt something cold in her stomach. A hospital ship? Someone had died to send this information. She kept reading. The files contained weapon designs she had never seen before. Some were clearly alien technology. Others looked human, but far more advanced than anything they had built. At the bottom of one file, she found a note. For the healers who died because healing was called weakness. Use these tools to make sure it never happens again. MK who? Was MK? And how did they know so much about advanced weapons? On the research station New Geneva, Dr. Sang-Wook Yoon was studying the alien political files. What he found there would change everything. The Krelthan Empire is not as strong as they pretend, he told his team. Look at these internal reports. Half their fleet is broken. Their economy is failing. They've been bluffing for years. His assistant, Dr. Ha Young-jung, was reading other files. The Thessian hegemony has the same problems. Their military is mostly for show, and the Valderan Collective, their automated defenses, have backdoors we can exploit. Dr. Yoon sat back in his chair. Someone just handed us the keys to the galaxy. But the most important discovery came from Captain Wei Jun-oh of the intelligence ship Silent Running. Deep in the alien files, he found something that made him call Admiral Jang immediately. "Admiral, you need to see this. The data contains information about a secret alien meeting 3 months ago. The Krelthan, Thessians, and Valderans agreed to work together to put humans in their place. The attack on the Mercy was planned as the first step. Admiral Jang felt his anger growing. They planned this? Yes, sir. They wanted to show that human mercy was weakness. They're planning more attacks on human civilian targets. Not anymore, they're not. Admiral Jang called together the highest military leaders in human space. By the end of the day, they had a plan. The aliens thought they had taught humanity a lesson about weakness by destroying one hospital ship. They were about to learn what human strength really looked like. And it would be terrible. 6 months after the destruction of the Mercy, the galaxy seemed to have forgotten about the hospital ship. The Galactic Council held a memorial service for the dead. Many alien leaders spoke about the tragedy and the importance of protecting medical vessels. But nothing really changed. The Krelthan Empire faced only small punishments. They had to pay money to the families of the dead humans. Admiral Vorthek got a written warning in his official record. That was all. Most aliens thought this was fair. The Thessian ambassador, Relthara, even said publicly that perhaps this incident will teach humans to be more careful about who they help. The Valdoran Collective agreed. Their representative, Zixara, stated that neutral medical aid is admirable, but not when it interferes with legitimate military operations. Many species quietly approved of what the Krelthan had done. For years, they had watched humans spread through the galaxy, making friends with everyone. Humans shared technology. They helped alien colonies. They treated alien diseases. Some aliens found this threatening. The attack on the Mercy seemed to prove that human kindness was just weakness. They had no idea how wrong they were. In the 6 months since Minho's data upload, humanity had been very busy. but they worked in secret. To outside observers, humans seemed to be doing exactly what they always did. Building farms, trading goods, exploring new worlds. Admiral Young-Sik Jang stood in the command center of Earth Defense Station 1, looking at star charts that showed the truth. Red dots marked new human military bases. Blue lines showed supply routes. Green triangles marked research facilities, all hidden, all secret, all ready for war. "Status report," Admiral Jang said to Colonel Mi Kyung Kim. "The Ghost Fleet is ready," she said. 200 ships, all using stealth technology we learned from the Velkari files. The aliens can't see them. Weapons research. Dr. Kyungmi Shin's team has completed the new plasma cannons. They cut through Krelton armor like paper. The shield disruptors are ready too. They turn alien shields into bombs. Admiral Jang nodded. "What about the computer viruses?" "Ready for deployment. We can shut down alien ship systems, communication networks, even their life support. The backdoors in Valderan technology work perfectly. For 6 months, human scientists had worked day and night. They studied every piece of information in Minho's files. They built new weapons. They found weaknesses in alien defenses. They learned alien languages and codes. On the research station New Geneva, Dr. Sang-Wook Yoon had built something special. It was a communication system that could break into any alien network. They could read alien messages. They could send false orders. They could make alien computers do whatever they wanted. "We can control their ships better than they can, Doctor," Yoon told his team proudly. In the weapons labs on Mars, Dr. Kyungmi Shin was testing her latest creation. It looked like a normal human missile, but inside it carried alien technology made better by human engineering. "Fire when ready," she told her assistant. The missile shot toward a target, a captured Krelton battleship. When it hit, the ship's own shields turned inward and crushed it like a tin can. "Perfect," Dr. Shin smiled. But the most important work was happening in the shipyards. Captain Soo-Bin Lee walked through the construction bay of Earth's largest shipyard, looking at humanity's new secret weapon. It looked like the old Mercy, but bigger, much bigger. The same white hull, the same red crosses, the same message of healing and help. "The UES Mercy's Vengeance will be the largest hospital ship ever built," the chief engineer told Captain Lee. "But the medical bays can be converted to weapons batteries in 60 seconds. How many ships can it destroy? Hundreds, maybe thousands. It depends on how close they get." The ship looked peaceful, but hidden inside its hull were the most powerful weapons humanity had ever built. Plasma cannons that could punch through any armor. Shield disruptors that turned defense into destruction. Computer viruses that could take control of enemy fleets, and all of it looked like a hospital ship. Across human space, similar preparations were happening. The mining colony on Kepler 438b was building factories that looked like farms but made weapons. The trading station at Wolf 359 was really a military base. The research facility studying alien diseases was actually learning how to create new ones. Everything was ready, but humanity waited. They waited because General In-Soo Kim had a plan. He stood in the strategy room on New Geneva, looking at a map of the galaxy. Red markers showed alien military bases. Blue markers showed alien government centers. Green markers showed alien trade routes. "We don't just want to win," General Kim told his staff. "We want to win so completely that no alien species will ever threaten human medical ships again." "When do we start?" asked Colonel Ji-Hoon Bang. "Soon. But first, we let them make the next move. Minho's files show they're planning more attacks on human civilian targets. When they do, we respond, and we don't stop until every alien government begs for mercy." On the other side of the galaxy, Admiral Vorthek was planning his next victory. He had been promoted after destroying the Mercy. Now he commanded the entire Krelthan 7th Fleet. "The humans have learned nothing," he told his officers. "They still send hospital ships to help their enemies. They still show weakness." "What are your orders, Admiral?" asked his second-in-command. "We will destroy another human medical ship, and then another, until they learn that mercy has no place in this galaxy." Admiral Vorthek had no idea that human ships were already watching his fleet. Invisible ghost ships followed his every move. Human spies read his private messages. Human computers had already broken into his ship's systems. When he gave the order to attack, humanity would be ready, but they would not just defend, they would destroy. In a hospital on Earth, Min-Ho Kong was slowly recovering from his injuries. The neural interface had damaged his brain, but human doctors had learned much about alien healing technology from his files. They used it to help him get better. Dr. Bo-Ra Jang, who had been Dr. Park's student, visited him every day. She was one of only 12 survivors from the Mercy's escape pods. "The data you sent," she said one day. "It's changing everything." "Good," Min-Ho said quietly. "They're building weapons, lots of weapons. Some people say you've started a war." Min-Ho looked out the window at the peaceful Earth sky. "The war started when they killed Dr. Park and Dr. So Young, when they decided that helping people was a crime." "Are you sorry?" Min-Ho thought about the good people who had died on the Mercy. Then he thought about what was coming for the aliens who had killed them. "No," he said, "I'm not sorry at all. 6 months of preparation, 6 months of building, 6 months of waiting. Soon the galaxy would learn what happened when humans stopped being merciful and started being efficient." The attack came exactly as Min-Ho's files had predicted. Admiral Vorthek's fleet found the human medical transport, Hope's Light, treating wounded refugees near the Kappa sector. The ship was smaller than the Mercy, with only 50 medical staff, and 100 patients. "Another bleeding heart," Admiral Vorthek said as he looked at the hospital ship through his view screen. "These humans never learn." He was about to order the attack when every system on his ship went dark. "What's happening?" Vorthek shouted. "Unknown, Admiral," his technical officer replied, panic in his voice. "All systems are offline. Weapons, shields, engines, everything." Across the Krelthan fleet, the same thing was happening. One by one, 12 mighty warships went dead in space. Commander Woojin Park smiled as he watched from his invisible ship. The computer virus had worked perfectly. The Krelthan fleet was now helpless. "Phase 2, he said into his communicator. Around the Krelthan ships, space began to shimmer. 50 human ships appeared from nowhere, their stealth systems shutting down. The Ghost Fleet had been waiting. Admiral Vorthek stared at the human ships in shock. "Impossible. Our sensors showed nothing." "Admiral," his communications officer called, "we're receiving a message." The main screen showed a human woman in a military uniform. She was young, but her eyes were cold as space. "Admiral Vorthek," said Captain Subin Lee from the bridge of the UES Mercy's Vengeance. "I am Captain Lee. 6 months ago, you destroyed the UES Mercy, a hospital ship treating wounded. Today we return the favor." "You cannot attack us," Vorthek shouted. "We are disabled. It would be murder." Captain Lee's expression did not change. "You taught us that mercy is weakness, Admiral. Thank you for the lesson." The human ships opened fire, but they did not destroy the Krelthan vessels. Instead, they used weapons that shut down life support, disabled engines, and knocked out communications. Within minutes, the entire Krelthan fleet was floating helpless in space. "Attention, Krelthan fleet," Captain Lee broadcast. "You are now prisoners of war. Any attempt to resist will result in the immediate destruction of your ships. You have 30 seconds to surrender." Admiral Vorthek had no choice. His ships were dead. His weapons were useless. His mighty fleet had been defeated without firing a single shot. "We surrender," he said quietly. But this was only the beginning. Across the galaxy, similar scenes were playing out. Human ships that had been invisible for months suddenly appeared at Krelthan military bases. Computer viruses shut down planetary defense systems. Weapons that looked impossible turned Krelthan technology against itself. On the fortress world of Krex Prime, the impenetrable shield suddenly reversed, crushing the cities they were supposed to protect. The base commanders could only watch in horror as their own defenses destroyed them. General In-Soo Kim coordinated the attacks from his command ship. The plan was working perfectly. 6 months of preparation. 6 months of studying alien weaknesses. Now they were using everything Minho had given them. "Krelthan Sector Command is offline," reported Colonel Ji-Hoon Bang. "All their fleets are either destroyed or surrendered." What about their allies? The Thessian hegemony tried to help. Admiral Myra Sathek sent 20 ships to assist the Krelthan. Tried? Colonel Bang smiled. Their ships turned around and started attacking each other. The computer virus convinced them they were fighting human vessels. General Kim nodded. The aliens had no idea what they were facing. For centuries, they had been the dominant powers in the galaxy. They thought their technology was superior. They thought humans were primitive. They were learning how wrong they were. On the Thessian homeworld, Premier Zalthara was in emergency session with his military council. "How many ships have we lost?" he asked. 230, replied Defense Minister Kolran. "And we don't understand how. Our ships are attacking each other. Our bases are shutting down by themselves. It's like our own technology has turned against us." Premier Zalthara felt fear for the first time in decades. "What do the humans want?" "Unknown. They're not responding to our communication attempts. They would know soon enough." Dr. Kyungmi Shin was in her laboratory on Mars, watching the battle reports with satisfaction. Her weapons were performing better than expected. Krelthan armor was useless against her plasma cannons. Alien shields were turning into bombs when hit by her disruptors. "Doctor," her assistant called, "the Valdoran Collective is mobilizing their automated defense fleet." Dr. Shin laughed. "Perfect. Let's show them what we learned from their own technology." The Valdoran Collective was proud of their automated ships. No crews to worry about, no emotions to cloud judgment. Just cold, efficient machines. But machines could be hacked. Commander Woojin Park led the assault on the Valdoran automated fleet. As soon as the alien ships came within range, his computer specialists went to work. The back doors that Minho had discovered worked perfectly. Within minutes, the Valdoran fleet was under human control. "Attention Valdoran Command, Commander." Park broadcast. "Your automated fleet now belongs to us. We're going to use it to destroy your military bases. Thank you for the ships." The Valdoran commanders could only watch as their own vessels turned and began attacking their installations. Bases that had taken decades to build were destroyed in hours by their own defenses. But the real message came when the human hospital ship UES Mercy's Vengeance arrived at the ruins of the original Mercy. The wreckage was still there, floating, in space where Admiral Vorthek had left it, a monument to his victory over human weakness. Captain Subin Lee stood on her bridge looking at the debris. Somewhere in that wreckage were the bodies of Dr. Park, Dr. So Young, and all the others who had died for trying to help people. "Communications," she said. "Open a channel to all alien governments. Full broadcast." Her message went out across the galaxy, reaching every alien homeworld, every military base, every government center. "My name is Captain Subin Lee, of the United Earth ship Mercy's Vengeance. 6 months ago, Admiral Vorthek of the Krelthan Empire attacked and destroyed the hospital ship UES Mercy. 200 medical personnel and patients died, killed for the crime of providing medical aid to all species." She paused, letting the image of the wreckage fill the screen. Admiral Vorthek said that human mercy was weakness. Today, we demonstrate what human strength looks like. Around her ship, the space began to fill with human vessels. Hundreds of them, all heavily armed, all ready for war. The Krelthan Empire is defeated. Their fleets are destroyed or captured. Their worlds are defenseless. This could have been avoided if they had respected the universal law of medical neutrality. Another pause. But they chose to make an example of healers, so we make an example of them. The broadcast ended. Across the galaxy, alien leaders stared at their screens in shock. How had this happened? How had humans become so powerful so quickly? The answer was floating in the wreckage around Captain Lee's ship. Dr. Minho Kang had given humanity the tools they needed. Now they were using them. The first phase was complete. The Krelthan Empire was broken. Their allies were scattered. Their technology had been turned against them. But this was just the beginning. The galaxy was about to learn what happened when you attacked a human hospital ship. What started as targeted strikes against the Krelthan quickly became something much bigger. Within 2 weeks of the first attack, the balance of power in the galaxy had completely changed. The Thessian hegemony made the first mistake. Premier Zalthara thought the humans were only angry at the Krelthan. He decided to try to broker peace and gain advantage at the same time. "The Thessian hegemony offers to mediate this conflict," he announced. "We can help reach a peaceful solution between humans and the Krelthan Empire." General Insu Kim was in his command center when the message arrived. He looked at the alien leader on his screen and smiled coldly. "Dr. Sang-wook Yoon," he called to his intelligence chief. "Show Premier Zalthara what we know about his peaceful mediation." The response that went back to the Thessian homeworld was not what Premier Zalthara expected. Instead of diplomatic talk, he received a complete file of secret Thessian military operations. Human intelligence knew about the secret Thessian weapons labs where they tested illegal weapons on captured prisoners. They knew about the black sites, where alien dissidents disappeared. They knew about the planned attack on human colonies that the Thessians had been preparing. Most shocking of all, they knew about the secret alliance. 3 months before the Mercy was destroyed, the Thessians had met with the Krelthan and Valderan leaders. They had agreed to work together to contain human expansion by targeting civilian vessels. The attack on the Mercy was not a spontaneous act of war. It was planned genocide. "Attention, Thessian hegemony," came the cold voice of Admiral Young-Sik Jang. "Your offer to mediate is declined. Instead, we offer you the same choice we gave the Krelthan: surrender or be destroyed." Premier Zalthara was outraged. "You cannot threaten us! We have done nothing to you!" The answer came in the form of 20 human ships appearing in Thessian space. Ships that their sensors had not detected. Ships that were already inside their impenetrable defense perimeter. "Your defense grid is now under our control," announced Commander Woojin Park, "as are your communication networks, your transportation systems, and your military fleets. You have 1 hour to surrender." The Thessian military tried to fight back. Admiral Myra Sathek launched every ship they had. 200 vessels, the pride of the Thessian fleet. They lasted exactly 14 minutes. The human ships used weapons the Thessians had never seen before. Plasma beams that cut through their best armor like it was paper. Computer viruses that turned their own ships against each other. Shield disruptors that made their defenses explode. But worst of all were the ghost ships. Invisible vessels that appeared from nowhere, destroyed their targets, and vanished again. The Thessians could not fight what they could not see. When the battle was over, the entire Thessian fleet was floating dead in space. "This is impossible," Admiral Sathek radioed from her crippled flagship. "Our technology is centuries ahead of human science." "How are you doing this?" Captain Subin Lee answered from the Mercy's Vengeance. "A year ago, a hospital ship was filled with healers who helped all species without asking for anything in return. Your allies decided to destroy them for showing kindness. One of those healers turned out to be the galaxy's greatest weapons designer." She paused, looking at the wreckage of the Thessian fleet. "He gave us every secret you thought was safe. Every weakness you tried to hide. Every backdoor in your technology. We know you better than you know yourselves. The Valdoran Collective made the next mistake. They thought their automated fleets would be immune to human attacks. No organic crews. Meant no fear, no emotion, no weakness. They were wrong. Dr. Kyungmi Shin had spent 6 months studying Valdoran technology. The automated ships had one fatal flaw. They were controlled by quantum computers that needed constant updates from the central command. "Cut the quantum link," she ordered from her command ship. Every Valdoran automated vessel suddenly stopped working. Thousands of ships, from tiny fighters to massive dreadnoughts, went dead in space. "Now upload the new control protocols." Within minutes, the entire Valdoran fleet was under human control. The aliens could only watch as their own ships turned and began attacking their manufacturing facilities. Zixara, the Valdoran collective consciousness, tried to understand what was happening. "Our ships are not responding to our commands. The quantum network has been compromised." "How is this possible?" asked Subconsciousness Velthari. "The network was encrypted with quantum uncertainty principles. It should be unbreakable." The answer came when human technicians revealed they had been inside the Valdoran network for months. Every ship, every base, every manufacturing facility was now under human control. "Your automated fleets belong to us now," General Kim announced. "We're going to use them to dismantle your military infrastructure, piece by piece." But the humans were not finished. Next came the revelation that shocked the entire galaxy. Dr. Sang-wook Yoon had discovered something in the alien files that changed everything. The attack on the Mercy was not just about stopping human expansion. It was the first step in a plan to eliminate humanity entirely. "Show them," General Kim ordered. The evidence went out across the galaxy. Secret meetings between alien leaders, plans to attack human colonies, agreements to divide human space between the alien empires after humanity was destroyed. The hospital ship had been destroyed not as a warning, but as a test. The aliens wanted to see if humans would fight back. When humans seemed to accept the loss quietly, they would have moved to the next phase, attacking human civilian ships, then colonies, then Earth itself. The Mercy was not the first target, Dr. Yoon announced to the galactic community. It was the first victim in a planned genocide. Across human space, the reaction was immediate and terrible. Humans who had spent their lives building peace with alien species now learned those same aliens had been planning to destroy them. The war that followed was unlike anything the galaxy had ever seen. Human fleets appeared at every alien military installation simultaneously. Not just Krelthan, Thessian, and Valdoran bases. but every species that had supported the genocide plan. The Nexari Syndicate lost their entire merchant fleet in one day. The Althan Republic found their planets blockaded by invisible human ships. The Keth Dominion watched as their invincible fortress worlds were taken apart by weapons that should not have existed. But the humans did not stop with military targets. On the former Krelthan capital, Admiral Vorthek was brought before a human tribunal. Captain Subin Lee stood as the prosecutor. "Admiral Vorthek, you are charged with the murder of 200 medical personnel and patients," she said. "How do you plead?" "I was following orders," Vorthek said weakly. "Whose orders?" "The High Command authorized the attack. They said the hospital ship was harboring enemies." "And did you verify this claim?" "No. But they were helping aliens who had fought against us." Captain Lee nodded. "So you destroyed a hospital ship because they were healing your enemies. Tell me, Admiral, when you were wounded in the Battle of Xerix 5, who treated your injuries?" Vorthek was silent. "According to medical records, you were treated at a human medical station. The doctors saved your life and asked for nothing in return. Yet you destroyed their colleagues for doing the same thing you benefited from." The trial was broadcast across the galaxy. Every alien species watched as their former ally was convicted of war crimes. The sentence was life in prison, working in a human hospital, caring for the wounded of all species. "You will spend the rest of your life learning what the people you murdered understood," the judge said. "That healing is sacred, and those who destroy healers deserve no mercy." But the real message came at the end of the trial. Captain Lee addressed the galaxy one final time. 6 months ago, alien leaders made a choice. They decided that human kindness was weakness to be exploited. They planned to destroy us for showing mercy to those who needed help. She paused, looking directly into the camera. "Today, humanity makes a choice. We will no longer trust others to respect the rules of civilization. From now on, we enforce them ourselves." Behind her, the image showed human fleets patrolling space, ships with white hulls and red crosses, but armed with the most advanced weapons in the galaxy. "The age of alien dominance is over. The galaxy will be peaceful because we make it peaceful. It will be safe because we make it safe. And hospital ships will never again be attacked because we will destroy anyone who tries." The new order had begun. 1 year after the destruction of the UES Mercy, the galaxy was a very different place. The rebuilt hospital ship UES Mercy Eternal floated in orbit around New Geneva, humanity's new administrative capital. The ship was 3 times larger than the original Mercy, with medical facilities that could treat thousands of patients at once. But unlike its predecessor, the Mercy Eternal was protected by the most powerful fleet in galactic history. Admiral Young-Sik Jang stood in the ship's main conference room, looking out at the assembled representatives of 47 alien species. They had come for the first meeting of the new Galactic Medical Council. "The rules are simple," Admiral Jang said. "All medical vessels are sacred. Any attack on a hospital ship, medical station, or clearly marked medical personnel is an act of war against humanity. The punishment is immediate and total." Premier Zalthara, now the reduced leader of what remained of the Thessian hegemony, raised his hand. "Admiral, surely there can be exceptions. In warfare, sometimes medical vessels are used to smuggle weapons or—" "No exceptions," Admiral Jang said, coldly. "If you suspect a medical vessel of carrying weapons, you contact human authorities. We will investigate. If you attack first and investigate later, we will treat it as murder." The alien representatives shifted uncomfortably. They were no longer the dominant powers they had once been. The Krelthan Empire was now 12 separate protectorates under human oversight. The Thessian hegemony had lost half their territory. The Valdoran collective existed only as a client state. "What about our sovereignty?" asked Zixara, speaking for what remained of the Valdoran consciousness. Admiral Jang smiled, but it was not a friendly expression. "You gave up your sovereignty when you planned genocide against humanity. The galaxy tried the old way, where each species made their own rules. That led to hospital ships being destroyed and healers being murdered." He gestured to the space around them, where human ships patrolled constantly. "Now we try the human way. Everyone follows the same rules. Everyone respects medical neutrality. Everyone lives in peace." "And if we refuse?" asked a representative from the Keth Dominion. "Then you join the Krelthan in their re-education programs." Dr. Bo-Ra Jang, who now served as Chief Medical Officer of the Mercy Eternal, stood up to address the assembly. She was one of only 12 survivors from the original Mercy, and her voice carried the weight of loss. "1 year ago, I watched my colleagues die for the crime of healing the wounded," she said. "Dr. Park, who never turned away a patient. Dr. So Young, who sang to frighten children. Tae-ho, who risked his life to save others." She looked around the room at the alien faces. "They died because you thought mercy was weakness. Today, I work in a medical bay that treats patients from your species every day. We still heal your wounded. We still save your children. But now, we do it protected by the most advanced fleet in the galaxy." She paused, looking directly at Premier Zalfara. "You taught us that kindness without strength is worthless. Thank you for the lesson." The meeting ended with the signing of the Kang Protocols, named after the man whose sacrifice had made human victory possible. Every alien government agreed to the new rules. They had no choice. Outside the conference room, Minho Kang sat in the medical bay where he worked every day. The neural interface damage had left him with constant headaches and partial memory loss, but human medical technology, improved with alien techniques taken from his files, had kept him alive. He was treating a young Krelthan patient, a child, who had been injured in an industrial accident. The boy's parents watched nervously as the human doctor worked on their son. "Will he be okay?" the mother asked. "He'll be fine," Minho said gently. "The bone will heal completely. He'll be running around in a few weeks." The Krelthan father looked surprised. "You help us even though we are your enemies?" Minho looked up from his work. "You're not my enemies. Your leaders were my enemies. You're just people who need help." He finished the treatment and watched the family leave, grateful and confused. Most Krelthan had never met a human before their defeat. They had been told humans were primitive and cruel. Instead, they found healers who worked just as hard to save alien lives as human ones. In another part of the ship, Captain Subin Lee was reviewing patrol reports. Human fleets now controlled every major trade route in the galaxy, not to stop trade, but to protect it. Pirates were extinct. Slavery had been eliminated. Wars between alien species had simply stopped happening. "Captain," her communications officer called. "We're receiving a distress call from the Helix sector. A transport ship with mixed passengers is under attack by raiders." Human raiders? Unknown species. They're demanding cargo and threatening to kill the passengers. Captain Lee stood up. "Set course for Helix sector. Maximum speed. And send a message to the raiders." Minutes later, the pirate ship received a transmission. This is Captain Subin Lee of the UES Mercy's Vengeance. You are attacking a vessel carrying civilians. You have 60 seconds to release your prisoners and surrender, or we will destroy you." The pirate leader laughed. "One human ship? We have 5 vessels. You cannot defeat us all." "We don't need to defeat you," Captain Lee replied. "We just need to kill you." The pirates had 32 seconds to realize their mistake before the Mercy's Vengeance appeared from stealth mode and obliterated their entire fleet with a single volley. The rescued passengers, a mix of humans and aliens traveling together, were brought aboard the human ship for medical treatment. Among them was an elderly Thessian who had been badly injured. "Why do you help us?" the old alien asked Dr. Bo-Ra as she treated his wounds. "Your species could simply rule us by force." "Because that's not who we are," Dr. Bo-Ra replied. "We're healers. We help people. The only difference now is that we can protect ourselves while we do it." The old Thessian was quiet for a moment. "I remember when the first human traders came to our world. We thought you were weak because you shared your technology freely. We were wrong." "Yes," Dr. Bo-Ra said. "You were." On Earth, the Human Defense Council was meeting to discuss the galaxy's future. The war was over, but the peace needed to be maintained. "Report from the outer territories," said Colonel Mi-Kyung Kim. "All quiet," replied General In-Soo Kim. "We've had 3 minor incidents this month. Pirates trying to attack civilian ships. All were eliminated before they could cause casualties." "What about resistance movements?" "The Krelthan Liberation Army tried to sabotage a medical station last week. They killed 5 doctors before we stopped them." The room fell silent. Even a year later, the murder of medical personnel was the one crime that triggered immediate and total response. "What was the punishment?" asked Admiral Jang. "Complete. The entire organization and everyone who supported them. Their families have been relocated to re-education colonies." "Good." Dr. Kyung-Mi Shin raised her hand. "I have a proposal for long-term stability. We should establish permanent human medical stations in every major star system, not just for healing, but as a symbol of the new order. Explain. Each station would be clearly marked as a medical facility. Any attack on one would trigger automatic retaliation from our ghost fleet. Over time, the aliens will learn that medical facilities are absolutely untouchable." Admiral Jang nodded. "Approved. Begin construction immediately." The meeting ended, but the work continued. Across the galaxy, human administrators were building a new kind of civilization, one where strength protected compassion instead of destroying it. In the memorial garden aboard the Mercy Eternal, a simple monument listed the names of those who had died on the original Mercy: Dr. Hyun-Woo Park, Dr. So-Young Yun, Tae-Ho Lee, 200 names of healers who had been murdered for showing kindness. Min-Ho visited the memorial every day. Today, like always, he placed a small flower by Dr. Park's name. "The galaxy is safe now," he said quietly. "Hospital ships sail under the protection of the most powerful fleet in space. No one will ever again die for trying to heal others." He looked up at the stars through the transparent dome above the garden. "I kept my promise to you, Dr. Park. I used my knowledge to protect healers instead of creating weapons to hurt people. The galaxy is peaceful because we make it peaceful, and it will stay that way forever." A year after the destruction of the Mercy, humanity had become the dominant species in the galaxy, not through conquest or cruelty, but by proving that Mercy, backed by overwhelming strength, was the most powerful force in the universe. The age of hospital ships being destroyed was over. The age of human hegemony had begun, and in medical bays across the galaxy, human doctors continued to save lives, knowing that anyone who tried to stop them would face the full wrath of a species that had learned to protect its healers with the fury of angels and the efficiency of machines. Dr. Min-Ho Kang, the man who had rewritten galactic history to save. The healers worked on, surrounded by the peace his sacrifice had bought and the protection his genius had built. The stars were safe for mercy again.